Hello and welcome to Shootin' the Breeze. I'm WECT First Alert Chief Meteorologist Gannon. This episode 24 is dropping early in the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. And your trivia question is in the spirit. It is simply, how many hurricanes occur in an average Atlantic season? Your choices are A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 8 hurricanes. And your answer is coming right up when we wrap up Shootin' the Breeze. This storm anniversary segment might be better named Storms Anniversary, as Shootin' the Breeze highlights the infamous 1955 Atlantic hurricane season, in which not one, not two, but 3 hurricanes landfalled in North Carolina. Connie opened the trio in hitting Carteret County in August. Then there was Diane's September strike in New Hanover, and later in the same month, Ione slugged the southern Outer Banks. Even worse, these flooding and damaging storms piled on our state that was still reeling from Hurricane Hazel's horrific Cat 4 lashing from the previous October. By the way, I urge you to check out episode 19 for Hazel's riveting storm anniversary if you haven't done that already. In all, 4 North Carolina hurricane landfalls occurred within a 365-day span from 1954 to 55. So, what are the lessons? Mama Nature's not fair. Statistics have extremes. History proves hurricanes aren't always a one-and-done phenomenon, and recovery always needs to be balanced with vigilance and preparedness. Thankfully, the wicked 3 and 4 storm progression of 70 years ago hasn't been repeated since. But there was a year when 2 Cape Fear landfalls occurred. That was 1996 with Bertha and Fran. This In the Community segment takes you to St. James, Brunswick County, where one of the most comprehensive municipal severe storm seminars takes place every June, just in time for the start of hurricane season. I just had the pleasure of presenting at my 12th straight such event, and as usual, plenty of newcomers and hurricane novices attended. New to my program this year was an interactive matching exercise that I thought you might like to sample here on Shootin' the Breeze. Let's get our feet wet with the Three Stooges hurricanes. Can you match Hurricanes Larry, Curly, and Moe's projected tracks with their sensible forecasts on the right? Congrats if you ordered them Moe, Larry, and Curly. Larry might be the lowest storm in category, but it is listed as large and slow, and it tracks west of St. James, so its circulation constructively interferes with its track vector to enhance its wind, tornado, and surge impacts. And that there is a huge lesson to apply to hurricane tracking that I bring to these seminars. The right side of an advancing hurricane tends to be the harsher side. All right, how about these Chipmunks hurricanes? All Cat 1s in this exercise, but very different forecast tracks and impacts. See if you can match up Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Congrats if you listed Simon, Alvin, and Theodore. Alvin might have been the easiest match to pick out. Its speedy offshore track would mitigate impacts. Simon and Theodore are the bigger actors here, with Simon's track piercing up into Long Bay, suggestive of a moderate to large surge and a tornado risk. And Theodore's sluggish speed and huge size, as listed, lends itself to hours and hours of flooding rain. Big totals. Hurricanes come in very different shapes, sizes, and tracks, as well as categories. And I'm sure to hit this hard whenever I'm out shooting the breeze about storms in the community. To keep your First Alert forecast fresh on TV, radio, the web, the WECT weather app, and social media, it takes a team of meteorologists. Tansey joined the First Alert weather team in the summer of 2023, and recently she and I sat down to shoot the breeze. Ella, it's good to catch up with you. You are the newest member of the First Alert weather team at that. You've been at it for 2 years. You've been with us for 2 years, and it's been awesome. I think that people watching Shootin' the Breeze will really like getting to know you a little bit better. And what they may not know is you are Wilmington born and raised. What was it like? What was it like growing up here in Wilmington?
Crazy and unique. You know, the weather always crazy, so that's definitely a home court advantage. But you know, growing up in the heart of Hurricane Alley has really just shaped a lot of, you know, who I am and my understanding of weather, but also, you know, how many kids can say that they grew up at the beach, and whenever summer vacation rolls around, you're there, you're at the beach having a great time. And then also the community that is here in the Cape Fear area. You know, everyone's just caring and just so willing to help, and everyone just wants to watch you succeed.
Yeah, so home turf, you've got a real supportive family. I mean, a lot of them still in the area, like mom and dad, and and even some grandparents, which is awesome. So
it's nice to not have to travel anywhere for the holidays. Everyone can say, okay, my house, 5 o'clock, dinner at this date. And so it's really nice. And it's extra support whenever I have any shows or anything. They're always like, oh, we're watching you. And then they gather in their friends. And it's just, you know, adds to the community.
Yeah. And it really helps when we make our weather schedules that you're like, well, I need a little bit of time off for Christmas, Thanksgiving, but it's like you're not traveling to the West Coast or anything like that. So I think it is an asset that you are on your home turf. Now, Ashley, Isaac Bear, and then where does it come along? You're like, you know, I think I want to go to Oklahoma and then Mississippi State to study weather. Like, how does that come about? What formed your meteorological acumen?
Well, during my Isaac Bear time, I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life, because everyone there is top of their class. They're super smart, and they're just so dedicated to being a well-rounded person. And so when you're in a competitive environment, especially academically, you start to think, well, what do I want to do with my life? And my dad, he was in the medical field and still is. And so I was thinking, you know, originally I want to be a neurosurgeon. So very, very challenging career path. And then I looked to see how long of schooling it takes to be a neurosurgeon. And I said, maybe not my cup of tea. And then I was just thinking and going back to my roots, because I've always had an interest in weather ever since I was in preschool, I was outside in the middle of a thunderstorm or in a hurricane, and I had one of those little cameras, and I took it out, and I was there giving a little weather report on what the conditions were, and then my parents would come out on the porch and yell at me and say, "Come back inside, it's dangerous to be out there." But I, always had a book about weather, and I was really starting to think, okay, maybe I can make a career out of this. So I send out a blast of messages to some of my friends who were already in college and even some people that, are somewhat in the field. And I was trying to decipher what I really wanted to do. And originally, I wanted to go pursue a PhD and do more research with tornado genesis and everything like that. But then I kind of just started to think, and I was like, you know what? I really want to go into, or how do I get to that path to pursue that PhD? And so I searched on Google, and I was like, what is the best school for meteorology? And the University of Oklahoma, first one. So hit that apply, and I got in. And so I packed up my bag here in Wilmington and traveled halfway across the country to study at the University of Oklahoma. And then I traveled to Mississippi State, learning there, and then I'm here.
And it seems like through that, it was in front of you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, well, and no pun intended on the neurosurgery, but you don't overthink it. Like, it's just what you have a passion about and turns it into a drive. And now you're here. And you are one of our resident severe weather experts in terms of, the shear and the ingredients that you looking out for tornadoes. So you still get to do that here, of course. When you're not in work, you've got obviously the supportive extended family. I think people may be surprised to know you've been married for a while. You have a home. You have a whole new family that you're creating yourself. Tell us what it's like at home.
So it's crazy. We're always super busy. I know my husband, his schedule, crazy, and then mine always changing. I have 3 pets, and they are the best. We just got an inflatable pool, so Leia has been enjoying that, especially during the summer months. But also, when I can have a moment to unwind and think, I really like to just go to the beach and, go back to those roots, because growing up here in Wilmington, always gone to the beach, and it's kind of just a place where I can center myself and enjoy that time, and also looking out for what type of clouds I can see.
So it sounds like it all comes together. You've come together with us here in the First Alert Weather Team. A lot of us have been established for a very long time, but I feel like it's just been seamless. You're an awesome member of this team. Thanks for joining me here on Shootin' the Breeze.
Thank you so much. I've had great, mentors and teachers for this process, like you, Gabe, and Eric.
Right. Love to hear it. Love to have you aboard. Now let's see how the trivia treated you. The 30-year average Atlantic hurricane season produces 14 named storms, and of those, 7 are hurricanes. Good on you if you selected C. And that's it for this 24th episode of Shootin' the Breeze. Please connect with me on these platforms. If you have a question about a topic you saw here on Shootin' the Breeze, if you have a suggestion for a Cape Fear or Carolina weather item you'd like to see covered in the future, or if you just want to say hello and what's the good word. And as always, WECT.com/anywhere is a great place to find more unique WECT OTT content. Hope I'll see you for the next episode of Shootin' the Breeze, and take care.